Hi everyone, I'm Will and this is Creating Music. Creating Music is a channel where we explore music creation, intervals, chord voicings, and many other things. But above all, we learn about music and have fun. Today I want to talk about a song that I created called Come Over You. And this is basically a 154 in F major. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard different 154s, 145s, whatever the progression is. It's a progression predominantly used, and when you're listening to radio or any kind of current and pop music, that's really the progression that almost 9 times out of 10 you're going to hear. You throw in a six, so like a 1 5 6 4. So I think of a song that I used to love. I still love to this day. Green Day, When I Come Around. That's a 1 5 6 4. So this is a 1 5 4 in F major. So the notes in F major are F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and then the octave F. The three main chords I use in this song are the tonic F, and then going to the C major, which is a 5, and then B flat major, which is the fourth interval. So you're looking at the root. 5 is the dominant, and 4 is the subdominant. And that's why a lot of people use the fifth interval and the fourth interval in songs, because it really lends itself to melody and being able to create melody over top of that. And part of this channel, I like to talk about music theory and how different chords work and different scales work, also about song creation. And when you're writing a 1 5 4 progression, I kind of look at it like you're basically making a cake, right? But everybody can make a cake. So how do you make your cake different? By decorating, by frosting and all the other kinds of things you may put on. And writing a song, when you're doing a progression that people do use a lot, it's really all about being able to kind of come up with your own way of doing things to make your song unique within that progression that that tends to be used a lot. And also just trying to use the 5 and the 4 and the tonic chord, but also sometimes put in different intervals within those chords, which just give them a different flavor or a tone, kind of like you're adding different kinds of frosting to a cake, or squeezing fudge in the middle, or whatever it may be. In this song, I chose to use two different kinds of organs. One's basically a standard like rock organ, and the other is a rock organ also, but it kind of has a little more vibrato to it. And use those also for texture. Again, talking about making different layers of the cake and adding different things to a song. So I utilized recording the same instrument twice, a couple of times within this song, and then I record it twice, and then I pan one of those recordings hard left and the other hard right, and it really does fill up the mix. And as we go over this song, you'll hear when during the section where the vocals are occurring, in there's like a retro, just kind of distorted guitar that I use, and I recorded it twice, and basically panned hard left and hard right, and just did a little bit of different chords, and it really helped that part of the song sound full, even though there's not many instruments playing. I'll switch over to GarageBand into the mix and show you a little bit about this here in just a minute. When I was playing around with the guitar, kind of coming up with this song, I stumbled upon a cool little riff that I kind of liked with the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth interval. It's like a da 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 da, and so I added that in during one of the one keyboard solo. I also added that melody into the guitar solo, and as you hear, the melody, the vocal melody, stays around the fourth, fifth, sixth, and major seventh interval. So I have this reoccurring theme, where you'll hear that little melody in the vocal, in the guitar solo, and also in the keyboard solo. And it always kind of keeps the listener's ear, reminding them of the melody. And to me, like one of the greatest compliments that I can get when someone listens to a song is that they say to me later, like, I can't get that melody out of my head. And I think by having certain melodies that are pretty catchy that people will like reoccurring in the song, I think that's one way that you can help the song that you create be memorable. Have the melody get stuck in people's head, and have them really take a liking to that song. So let's take a look in GarageBand, and I'll kind of take it through the mix, the different instruments I used, any recording things that I did, and just kind of go through the mix in its entirety. Okay, taking a look at the mix on this song. This one has a lot of different parts, a lot of different instruments. When I look at the starting at the top here, looking at the drums, that is one of the provided drum beats that the GarageBand does offer, and I really do like the little bit of a higher pitch in this particular beat on the snare. It just kind of cuts through, and I think it really drives the beat in this song really well. All right, so looking at that classic rock organ, I have highlighted, and taking a look at what I play through that, and it really is just the progression, the 154 in F major, as that's what this whole video is about. Let me go ahead and give you a little piece of that so you can hear what I'm doing. Just basically following the chord progression. We're looking at the F major, and then we're looking at the 5, and then the 4, which the 4th note is here, and then the full chord plays out with the 3 and the 5 right there. So you have your 4th, and then the 3rd and the 5th of that to make that a major chord there. So, and as we know that the 5th is dominant and the 4th is subdominant. So, we really are looking at all major chords when we play this progression, the 154. Taking a look back here at the vocal track, the da 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 da, that really centers around the 4th, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So those 4 notes. And as I discussed earlier, I have that do 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 run that I'm playing in both the little keyboard solo and then also in the guitar solo, and that is what the vocal track is based around. So when you're putting together a song, it's important to have, if you come on to a hook that you really like with different notes, if you utilize it in solos, and then also if you utilize it when you're playing your guitar melody or guitar solos and keyboard solos or anything, it just adds consistency to the song. And I'll just highlight the vocal just for a second so you can hear. And I got a feeling this ain't true, and I gotta know what came over you. And when we take a look at the vocal track also, as you see, I in between each phrasing, I actually just deleted anything so we'd have less white noise. Just due to the camera configuration that I'm using to record, because you want to minimize that, because that'll just end up kind of, clogging up the mix, something that you don't want to do. In the piano section that I did here, and with the piano, I have it here. And let's see, I have it in the mix down here. And what I did, if you've watched previous videos that I've done, is I recorded the piano twice, and I panned one piano hard left and the other one hard right all the way. And it really does create kind of a bigger sound. And I'll talk about that a little later too, when when I look at one of the guitars that I did that with also. But just getting an understanding again, we're just kind of going with the chords here in the in the progression. We're just going with the 1 5 4 as I did with the classic rock organ. And again, that's the same notes. That's your F major, the 5th, and then the 4th. And it just adds, I think, a lot of depth when you have, multiple instruments included in the beat. I also actually, as you can see where I'm highlighting here, I did the drum part twice. It just gives me the ability to control the drum sound and give it a little more if I want. And as I said, I really like the snare sound on this particular drum offering that I used from GarageBand. And being able to give it a boost here and there, I think, is a really helpful tool to use, as you're going through things. Now, as you can see here, I also uh, put two acoustic parts in, and again I recorded the same thing twice, and I hard panned one acoustic hard left, and I then recorded the second acoustic and hard panned it hard right. So it's just strumming the chords basically and picking out some notes in the chord. I'll give you a listen to that right now. And I think that just adds some fullness to the mix, especially as you can see here. I'm highlighting both of them when you take the time and do the hard pan. I really like the hard pan with a lot of instruments. Next, taking a look at the bass sound, and I actually recorded two different bass tracks here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the one that is played, and it's right there as I've highlighted it. And this is played during the more driving parts of the song, and it's kind of like a staccato eighth note type thing here. I'll go ahead and solo that for you real quick. So that's just again following the 154 progression, and just on the root note there, doing each note. And then in the part that slows down with the drum beat that's on the toms, and that's where the vocals are and everything. And I wanted to have a clear break there to have that all kind of come down, reduce the amount of instruments playing, but still be able to have some feel to it. And when I was looking at the bass line, I just don't think that the bass line and the driving part, the staccato eighth notes, just don't fit in the section where it all kind of breaks down a little bit. So, as I'm highlighting the bass for that section, I'll go ahead and play that, and that's just following the root notes with. I hit the F, and then I do a 2 there. I go up to a G, and then I play the C, which is the fifth in F, and then I go down and hit the B flat, which is the fourth in F, and then I do the fifth of B flat, and that's actually an F note, so that's a 1, and that kind of leads me back in the bass line, and we always talk about different notes having different ways to lead the listener's ear, and I think that bass line does a good job of bringing the listener back around to the next section. So we'll go ahead and check that out. So as you can see there, that none of these are very complex, but when you put together different arrangements or different parts for an arrangement of a song, you want to not so much look at complexity as much as how it all kind of comes together and how things work all the way, through the end. So, and let's take a look at the retro wah that I have highlighted right now. And this is another instrument that I recorded two times, and basically I did a a 1-5-2 chord. So in F, you'd have your first or your tonic, which is F, and then the 5 is C, and then the 2 is G. And I did that chord higher up in the register, and then also a little lower. So I recorded one higher and one lower, and then I hard panned one to the left and hard panned the other to the right. And I think you'll notice in the section where the vocals are that really comes through and really helps fill that section up because there's not very many instruments playing. So I'll go ahead and give a listen to the one side of it, and on the retro wah section. So I'll go ahead and play a little bit of that for you. And then going back up to the other retro wah right here, and just kind of checking it out. And you can see there how one's lower than the other. And then again, as I said, I hard panned one to the right and one to the left. So listening to both of those together is here's what it sounds like. Again, just working to fill up that section where the vocals are. And then when we take a look at the heavy metal organ that I'm going to highlight here, that's the one solo that I did. And again, at the end of that solo, or towards the end of it, I have a phrasing of da 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 da. And I do that in this particular solo with the organ, also in the guitar solo, and the lyric also goes around those notes with the seventh added in too. So I know you can hear the solo in the mix, but we'll go ahead and listen to the solo just a little bit here. And again, right up from the starting with the fourth note, right up to the 5/6, the seventh, and the octave, playing around and coming back down, and then that lick will come up in a minute. So here's the lick I was talking about. So that's the lick that I was talking about in that particular solo. And then when we come over and look at the distorted guitar that takes a solo here later, and I've highlighted that for you now. We'll listen to that a little bit, and then I'll also play you that reoccurring riff that I'm talking about. And here comes that riff. So you can see just kind of, creating the same riffs, for the listener to kind of hear throughout the song as part of the melody that, they'll hopefully be whistling as they walk away from hearing the song. Because, you always think that a good melody hopefully sticks with people. But that's that main riff that I'm talking about there. So there's the mix and the original song that I've created for your listening today. I hope you enjoyed having me go over how I write songs. I hope it helps you in your endeavors in writing different kinds of songs and different progressions. Please throw questions down in the comment. I'd love to answer them. And anytime I talk with someone about songwriting or music in general, it helps me learn as it does others. Thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate your time. And please don't forget to subscribe and also ring the bell so you know when I have new and creative music coming your way. Thank you.